Hi Englishers, welcome back to my channel, especially to my grade 11 students. And now we're having another discussion. It's a continuation on our previous discussion about a position paper or the parts of a position paper. And as promised, I told you that I made the module 13 yes into two. Yeah, the discussion will be into two. So the part 2 will be about the guidelines in writing a position paper. So let's get it on. Okay, so I'll have first my first screen here. Yeah, so the guidelines in writing a position paper. Okay, and also we do have the same learning competency, and the objectives are just the same, since this is again the part 2 of our module 13, the parts of a position paper. Okay, and but with this, I'd like to reiterate that the discussion will be a combination of English language and the Visayan dialect. Okay, so hopefully you have already watched and understood the parts of a position paper and how it should be written. Okay, di ba nga hisgutan ang introduction, unsay dapat isuwat sa introduction, unsay dapat makit-an sa imuhang body, ug unsay dapat naa sa imuhang conclusion. And with this, you will be guided as to what should be the content of your position paper. Okay, in your module, perhaps there are 14 guidelines, and in here I only condensed that into 10. So ang katulad yung pinaka-basic or pinaka-essential. Okay, so the first one I chose is choose an issue. It's very essential. Okay, of course, you need to start with a plan. Okay, unsa di ay ang ako ang issue, unsa di ako ang concern. Okay, so naadiri ang imuhang parts. Okay, choose the issue that is debatable. Okay, dili lang kay ang debatable, makaingon ta nga dili siya ma-answer lang sa question nga yes or no. Kaya kung imuhang issue kay ma-answer lang sa yes or no, wala na tayo laing hisgutan, wala na tayo laing i-discuss. Diba? Okay, so another thing is the issue should be current and relevant. Yes, for sa inyo nakita, daghan na kayo mong naobserbaran sa mga panghitabo karon sa new normal in education. Okay, yes, there are a lot of concerns there. Okay, especially in your study habits too. Okay, time management, okay, like that. Another issue to when regarding choosing a topic or choosing an issue, it should be written in a question form and answerable by yes or no. Okay, so akong i-mention ganina no, nga answerable sa yes or no, pero of course something nga debatable. Okay, kung yes or no, di ara ko to boy, or it must be something nga ato asa mo look forward to, nga dili lang ta mo end until there sa yes or no. So mao ang punto diha. Okay, the issues should be narrow and manageable. Okay, narrow and manageable kay nga naman, we are only allowed to have 500 to 2,000 words, 2 pages only. Okay, position paper naman siya, di man siya katong mas bugat pa ba nga mag-conduct jud ka og research, or though you do have to gather data or information, di ba? Okay, so ang pinamubo man ni siya nga style. Okay, so conducting a research, just your position raman, dili man jud to siya ang katong research nga dinugo nga style. Okay, another guideline in writing a position paper: begin the writing process by conducting in-depth research on the issue. Okay, di ba? So diri palandaan, gitagaan jud ka og idea. Excuse me. Gitagaan jud ka idea nga kinahanglan jud ka mag-undergo research. So to choose, or in choosing your issue, of course, you also have to consider asa man ni dapita nga kuan mas nindot ba nirong i-discuss, or about sa politics baron, or about sa mga candidates karon. So unsa gid nahimo sa mga previous, ug unsa gid mahimo pa supposedly ilang himuon. Okay, so it is also possible that way. Okay, I hope that's clear. Okay, number 3 guideline here. Okay, the third guideline, I'm sorry. Make sure to define unfamiliar terms when you're first mentioned them, or when you first mentioned them. Sorry, it's you. So, ato ang gi-mention before no nga kinahanglan ang words nga imong gigamit kay makaingon ta nga makatatakpot sa imong sa imong credibility as a writer ba, kay pang professional. Okay, pero dapat kinahanglan pud siya nga masabtan sa tanan. Okay, kay remember nga to ang purpose sa sa position paper no, kay it's not just to inform but also to convince, okay, the readers. Okay, so ang ikaupat nga guideline nato kay check your argument for fallacies and eliminate them. Kay nga naman kung naamong fallacies and if you can't eliminate them, it weakens your position paper. Okay nga, uy, naaday ka ng bati or naaday ka ng nakanastroy nga bati sa other nga side. So, posible nga, makainganyo man na sa mga mubasa nga ay bati or dili day maayo di ay. So, dapat i-check yun animo. Okay, so you also have to review your arguments nga imong gi-present sa imong position paper. Fifth guideline we have, okay, cite a valid and reliable sources to establish the credibility of your arguments. Okay? So, importante, GDI, or inana ka importante ang cite sa imong reliable sources. So, diha pa lang gani sa iyang module da ano nga mo comment or bisan sa ko ang apart maka-receive mo maka-receive mo returned modules nga some contents are found unauthentic. Okay, the answers look familiar from the previous student. Okay, so it must be possible that kay naa kay idea nga gikuha sa imong classmate pero wala man nimo gi-acknowledge ang imong classmate. So pwede mo to according to, okay, gi-mention mo ang name, he mentioned in his paper that this one like this like that. Okay, so importante man gud ang trust sa usa ka relasyon. Dili lang sa relasyon importante ang trust, no? So ikaw pod as a writer nga of course nga nagsuwat, importante pod nga naa makuha nimo ang trust sa imuhang magbabasa or sa imuhang prospect nga readers para kang kinsa ni sila. Okay, so na diha makita nga okay, nindot ni siya kani siya ana na magud na nila makita. As for me nga reader ko sa imuhang gisuwat, ako din kang i-recommend nga maayo na iyang gikuan. So diha na to musod ang recommendation paper or recommendation, no, o writing a recommendation paper. Okay, another guideline we have is to limit your paper to 2 pages. Okay, so that's the main purpose on why we need to have our position paper in a very dili lang kisya ina naka broad, no. Okay, so mubo lang siya nya dali din masabtan. Okay, so para dali din siya ma-approve o dali din siya masabtan sa imuhang readers o sa imong possible nga mga mo fund. Okay, so importante siya. Another guideline, or the 7th one, is to analyze your target readers and align your arguments to their beliefs, needs, interests, and motivations. Okay. Kaya nga naman importante nga imong ano ni siya sa ato ang I think sa reading and writing subject nga before you plan your writing, okay, you have to know your audience. Importante para kang kinsa man imong gisuwat. Okay, you also have to analyze your target audience well. Okay. So, ano siya? Okay, the 8th guideline is use an active voice as much as possible to achieve a dynamic and firm tone. Okay. Ingon tag active voice, mag-discuss ta sa tong English grammar, no? You might as well try to visit my English grammar playlist. Okay. So there is the active voice versus passive voice. Active voice kay ang verb nimo kay yes, present usually, no. Okay, present dyan na siya nya ang imuhang subject mo ay naghimo sa action. Okay, dili ang katong imuhang object mo ay naghimo sa action. So dapat active voice per me. Okay, so hopefully you can check that out, active voice versus passive voice, in my English grammar playlist. Okay, another guideline, okay, or the 9th one, okay, we're almost done. Okay, this is a very quick discussion. Arrange your evidence logically using an inductive and deductive approach. From the part 1, as far as I remember, we mentioned about, okay, a certain approach. Yeah, and it was mentioned there, the deductive and deductive. Okay, inductive here, okay, just to reiterate, okay, it entails the flow of the discussion from specific to general ideas. So gimuan siya nimo og kanang basically naa siya nindot nga aspect ba nga okay, so nindot narrow man siya, specific siya. So after which imo rin siya tagaan og general aspect niya nga okay, mao ni example ta makaingon ta nga Mm, ako kay usa ka buutan or ako kay 13 ba mo or 16 years old a student from this school. Okay. So pwede na siya himuon yung mo na siya mga specific. Nya din mag-general din ka kay I am a senior high school student. Okay, so di ba i-general nimo nga 16 years old ka nag-study aning a strand o aning a school. Okay, so specific na nimo nya din nimo hang general idea kay katong you are a senior high school student. Okay, ginana lang ako pagdating ang logic ha. So inana ang inductive approach. Ang deductive approach, this is the opposite of the inductive. Ang deductive kay reasoning where the flow of discussion starts with a general theory and moves to a specific hypothesis. Okay, so from a general one, so baliktad na, kay ako usa ka senior high school student, nagpangidaron og nagpangidaron og 16 anyos nga nagtungha ani nga eskwelahan og nagkuha sa strand nga. Okay, ana siya. So baliktad ra. Okay, and the most important one, okay, I intend to have it in the last part. Okay, use ethical, logical, and emotional appeal. Okay, unsa man ni sila? Okay, kung yung tag ethical, okay, it relates to your credibility and competency as a writer. So mo na tong nag-state ka or nag-mention ka og mga sources or validity sa imong sources, so na mabutan ni kag mga katong testimonies, ito importante. Na-discuss to before, di ba, sa example of writing a position paper. Logical appeal, it has something to do with your intelligence, how you present or develop your argument. Okay, rational things, being objective on the answer or being objective on the point you are discussing on your paper. Okay, emotional appeal has something to do with your feelings or emotion. Okay, it uses arguments in a way that evokes feelings. Okay, the example previously was it talked about dili na nila ipahunog nila ang katong death penalty no kay ang mga gipanggamit daw kuno nga equipment or wala gid siya nahatag nga kaayuhan sa mga tao, so dapat ipa-stop daw. Yan ay gihatag nga to sa iyang last part or sa conclusion nga part man siguro to or sa body at testimonies nga mga tao nga naka-experience ato kay mao ni nahitabo. So ikaw nga nagbasa kay you tend to have this kind of feelings nga bitaw sa dapat jud nga ato na ni siyang hunungon or dapat jud dili na nila ipadayon. Okay, so hopefully nakuha na ninyo nga idea, no? Yeah, I'll just have to add some guidelines lang, so additional tips lang ni siya, no? Okay, you also have to beware of the various positions about the issue and in analyzing or explaining your ideas in a manner of being objective. Okay, yes, beware. So I think you need to go with the content only. So you have to I think yes, it means to say that you don't have to be subjective in your issue, so you have to analyze it in an objective manner. Okay, and also you have to reflect your position and identify its weakness so that you will not have to put that again in your position paper, because that makes your paper again weak. Okay, you also have to view the issue in a different perspective. If ako to ang nagbasa, okay, if ako ang nagbasa ani akong gisuwat karon, unsa kay mahitabo? Okay, so make it more interesting for your possible audience. Okay, you try to summarize your other sides of the argument. Di ba kay mo present maka two arguments nga no sa imong position paper. So kung natoy counter argument, so make it sure nga nahatagan po nimo og ebidensya, nahatagan po nimo og hustisya ang data nga imong gi-provide, okay, para dili masumbalik sa imuha ba, or again, para dili gyapon ma-weaken ang imuha position paper. Okay, so I think naklaro, o hopefully sa nakakuha mo og idea on saon pag so what are the guidelines, yes, in writing a position paper. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining with me in today's lesson, and yes, hopefully we will be seeing each other again in our next lesson. Okay, so that would be all. Please don't forget to like my videos and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and see you again in my next video lesson. Bye for now. Enjoy learning, my dear grade 11 students.